pastime, which is a theme of hits. And it's called One Tea or Two. Does pastime have one tea or two? I haven't the foggiest. Do you? I suppose it doesn't matter. We're only here for the patter. Does anyone else need a poo? I sort of panicked at the end of it.
Denmark, what a lark. Everyone agrees. Sandy Toksvig's at her tallest when she's climbing trees. And then I ran out of ideas.
People do take their poetry very seriously. There was a man called Roger McLean. He once tried to shoot Queen Victoria because she didn't like his poetry. He sent her a poem. He got a less than generous reply, he felt. He fired at her at Windsor Station on March the 2nd in 1852. He missed and was subdued by 2 Eton schoolboys who hit him with their umbrellas. I think out of all of those, I'm afraid I'm going to go film's the best one. I think that was very good. Here's a pet hate of mine. Why do the ancient Chinese give wine to their dogs? Right.
They were legends.
So it's miniature Pekingese that we are talking about. They were also known as sleeve Pekingese. They used to keep the dogs up the sleeves. It's partly to keep their hands warm, but it's also a hilarious form of self-protection. Because if anybody comes near you, just go, ah, like that. Up your sleeves. So obviously, if you've got a sleeve Pekingese, you want them to be as small as possible. And one of the things they thought was if you gave rice wine to puppies, it would stunt their growth. I tried this with my children, and honestly, they're enormous. I have no idea what's happened there. And they used to squeeze them as newborns to try and keep them small, and they used to fit them with a wire mesh waistcoat to try and... I know, it's awful. I have no idea why they thought giving wine to a dog would keep it small. I'd say, do not give alcohol to dogs. Their kidneys are not adapted to processing. And in fact, the practice was banned eventually by an Empress Dowager Jushi she died in 1908. She stopped it.
Well, look at the Ferrero Rocher that she
Yes. Expecting the ambassador.
Can't give that to a dog either. That's very naughty.
No chocolate. Do not give chocolate.
I'm from Borneo. There's a tribe in Borneo that cooks meat by passing it through the digestive system of a dog. And so you feed the dog like chunks of meat and
Right.
squeeze it so that it gets
That's
sucked
straight
by the
out.
acid, but it's not long enough for it to get digested, and out the butt comes a lovely little sort of ceviche.
Like a magician, like pulling sleeve.
How are
Yeah.
you doing with that? I think that thought.
I don't like it.
How long do you think the Pekingese breed is?
7 million years.
Same as Yoga then.
1,000 years.
It is really old. It's one of the oldest dog breeds. Dog remains have been found that look a bit like them in the Middle East and in Europe dating back 12,000 years. They're one of the least genetically diverged dogs from the wolf. You wouldn't think it would do.
This is the one on the top left.
Yes.
That has been blow dried. That's been held under a hand dryer. Or just put up and down in one of those Dyson ones for ages.
But keeping dogs in sleeves no stranger than putting them in a handbag. So in New York City, Subway prohibits dogs unless they're carried.
You sure that's a dog?
Not it wants shaving.
This thing is Doctor.
Yeah.
I can't even get it in my trousers now.
Now, on to the penalty shootout round that we call General Ignorance. Fingers on buzzers, please. What pastime that begins with P was illegal in New York for 30 years?
Is the picture a clue?
Well, we are in New York there, and we do have the letter P, so in that sense, yes.
Pinball.
Pinball is exactly right. Pinball. So the very first pinball machine patented in 1871. The first commercial one is 1931. And then the early 1940s, they began to be seen as a game of chance and therefore a form of gambling. So they banned it in 1942.
Slight overreaction there.
It was prohibition style stuff, darling. They smashed them up, they burned machines. It's so politically incorrect and ecologically unsound, they dumped all of them in the river. eventually it became like a secret thing. They were in the back rooms of CD establishments.
Rather than the back on the right, is clearly rubbing the pinball machine against his genitals.
Clearly only to you. And it was finally overturned as late as 1976.
Oh, sorry.
Pinball Jizzit.
It was an association called the Music and Amusement Association. They hired a 26-year-old Roger Sharp and it was a game of skill and badminton. That's the name of the pinball prohibition lasted twice as long as alcohol prohibition. Which country is the home of golf?
That's not fair.
I bet it's China. Everything was invented in China.
You are absolutely right. Yes, it is indeed. G1, literally hitting the ball and then playing this form of golf quite thousands of years ago. And it's described as something called the Longchuan record, sometime between 1050 and 1100 AD. A Chinese magistrate tells his daughter to dig holes in the ground so that he might drive a ball into them with a purposely crafted stick. What the Scottish did was they brought all the aspects of the game together. Well, it was the first time we hear about golf was when it's banned in Scotland, 1457. It was meant to be a distraction from practicing battle skills.
But also, they had the links, didn't they? They had the land between farmland and the sea, which was unusable, sand dune, you couldn't grow anything. And so they played there.
Yeah.
Have I been playing golf wrong? You've been in the wrong outfit, certainly.
Which country do pinatas come from?
Not Mexico.
Not Mexico. Where else might they come from?
Wales, Scotland, China.
China! Thought to have been brought to Europe from China by Marco Polo. Oh, speaking of Marco Polo, the stories are absolutely fantastic. One of my favourite stories is about Kublai Khan's niece, Princess Kutalun. And she was unmarried. And Kublai Khan wanted to get married, so she said, well, that's fine. I will marry the first man who wrestles me and wins. And if he wins, I'll marry him. If he loses, he has to give me 100 horses. And Marco Polo writes that Princess Kutalun concluded her life unmarried with 10,000 horses. So there's a Chinese tradition which Marco Polo wrote about called Dachu Nui, and basically they made an ox or a sort of cow-shaped papier-mâché structure, and they covered it in coloured paper, and they filled it with seeds, and then they hit it until they spilled, and supposedly it brought good luck and brought the harvest. So, pinatas are also an ancient Chinese invention. Where does Chinese checkers come from?
Not going to be that, is it?
Go, Joe.
Mexico.
It's a German invention. There's a game called Sternhalma, but the company in the United States that made it, the project, sounded more exotic to the Chinese checkers. But it's based on an earlier American game also called Halma. Chinese checkers is one of the few inventions not actually Chinese. All of which brings us to the puffed up perorations of the final scores in joint first place with 1 point each. It's Ellie and Alan. Second place with -4, Phil. But the meaning isn't everything. Our wooden spoon goes to Joe with -18. And that's all from us, but I leave you with this. In 1980, American tennis player Vitas Gerulaitis finally beat Jimmy Connors after losing their previous 16 encounters. In the post-match interview, Vitas triumphantly said, "Nobody beats Vitas Gerulaitis 17 times in a row." Thank you, good night. my doormat tonight is absolutely first class. Registered mail. It's Matt Lucas. It's Holly Walsh. This way up, it's Susan Kalman. Please do not leave unattended. He may be removed and destroyed without warning. It's Alan Davis. Let's hear your buzzers post haste. Matt goes. Holly goes.
I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter.
This is all very mellow, isn't it? Susan goes.
I gave a letter to the postman.
And Alan goes. Oh dear, and straight away some letters have gone missing. Can you fill in the blanks here? Who is that, first of all?
That's Tony Blackburn.
It is Tony Blackburn.
Is this like a game of hangman? Do we guess letters?
Who can, if you like.
Okay.
A.
Yes. But I'm not going to tell you what. Right.
I use P.
Post. Good post.
Postcodes.
Postcode.
Postcode. There's no letters for postcode.
Yes, I use W1.
You use your
Do you use your
postcode.
postcode?
W1A.
Yes. When did we start having postcodes? Anybody?
60s.
60s. No, it's earlier than that.
20s.
So there was
30s.
a man called
40s?
50s.
this guy, Sir Rowland Hill. He first had the idea 1857.
What?
I know. He divided London into postal districts, but the actual postcodes that we have were not generally introduced in the UK until, in fact, the year I was born, 1958.
Shut up, Sandy.
What? Me being born?
58, shut up.
What?
You're the 70s at least, if ever.
And tonight's winner. People didn't use them, so Tony Blackburn, that dates from 1980, so that's 22 years after they've been officially introduced. Why did people not use them?
Because they didn't know them.
No, it wasn't.
Well, sometimes I don't know my own postcode.
You don't know your postcode.
You know that way your mind works when you get older, that you think of a different postcode where you once lived?
No.
Sometimes you get mixed up.
How do you fare with passwords?
Well, I've got to have a document called passwords on my computer. In that document are all my passwords.
Yes, presumably your computer is password protected.
Yes, but
So
I
you
know
can't
that
get into
one.
that
I know
document.
the password to that one
Oh.
because it's my name.
Anybody who breaks into your home because you're on QI at the moment just puts your name in and there's a file marked passwords and you're off and running.
She can't remember where she lives, so
That's true. Maybe we could get the burglar to ring you and tell you where it is. Right. Okay, I want you, please, to tell me what 3 words describe exactly Alan's current position.
Is it full of regrets?
That's very good. Full of regret. Any other thoughts? 3 words.
Is what you're doing there deliberate, or is that just the way you sit?
Well, I'm just sitting on my hands, that's all.
Oh, is it sitting on hand?
So it could be. So in terms of where he is, his exact location, the only correct words are, in this exact order, joke, proof, value. It's Alan's precise current address, according to one of the most exciting things I've ever heard of, called What 3 Words. This is a British company, and they have divided the Earth's surface into squares which are 3 meters by 3 meters. So there's 57 trillion squares in total, and they have assigned each one a unique 3-word code. Now, what's amazing about it, you only need 40,000 words in order to make the system work. It was launched in 2013. It operates in 25 languages, and it has already been adopted by actual countries. So in Mongolia and the Ivory Coast, they're the first to adopt it as the official address system. So if you have a look here, Bingaville in Côte d'Ivoire, glitter drummers stepping is exactly that point. San Francisco, actors asking print, is exactly that point. Coffee, feeder, cans, California, USA.
But what about all the floors of the building? How does that work?
It would just be the square that you are
Okay,
in.
the square goes all the way up.
Yeah. But what it means is that, for example, if an ambulance is called or something, you can be pretty specific about exactly where you need to go. So the Eiffel Tower, shut tech requests, the front doorstep of Buckingham Palace, sound manual lungs, the top of Ayers Rock or Uluru, snake removes gymnast. Is the air being let out of you?
I can see the fascination.
I should just put the little thing in the side. Just pop it
The kids have been playing with it.
Oh no, just stick it back in it.
It's meant to be old-fashioned. But this seems to be overcomplicating things. Where do you live? Number 25, glittery bra coffee. It just...
You wouldn't need the 25 even.
just glittery bra coffee.
The thing about it is that you couldn't confuse it with anywhere else in the world.
You say that, but people pissed in a cab. What's your address? It's glittery coffee bra, and then next thing you know, you're dropped off at like an airport in Nigeria.
We have actually written, using the What Three Word system, to the British Embassy in Mongolia. We sent them out some time ago. I have to tell you, they've not arrived yet.
Fuck's that? Why not?
I think fucks that is just outside of.
Okay, now, why would you give your postie a rocket?
To get your letters into space.
Okay, that's nice. I like
Are you
that.
allowed to post a rocket?
Are you allowed to post a rocket? I
Yeah.
suppose if it's not combustible in any
I
manner.
know you're allowed to send a gun, but you can't send it with ammunition. Same thing as PIN numbers. You can send a credit card, but you can't send a PIN number with
That's
it.
true, and in fact, you can send a toilet, but not with a poo in it.
This is one of my favourite dinner party questions.
Okay, go.
Is if you had to get a gun by midnight tonight, who would you ask?
What kind of dinner parties do you
You have to work out who of your friends would have the contacts to get you a gun by midnight tonight.
Well, I mean, I have friends who hunt. Could it be a hunting gun?
Yeah, just got to kill someone.
Sandy would just have someone killed. She wouldn't keep her
Yeah,
hands
you're
clean.
right, you're right.
I would have people for that.
Yes. You'd never be like, if something happened, you'd be like, oh, I've read in the papers, what a tragedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's never occurred to me that I might want to go. It's a bit like asking me where I do school drugs.
Okay, who of your friends would be able to score drugs for you by midnight tonight?
Again, I've got no one. I've got a few friends on HRT, then I run out.
Who would you shoot?
Yes.
No, not who would I shoot. That's a completely different dinner party.
Does anyone else just sit down with a Nigella Lawson cookbook in a silky dressing gown and make some squid? Okay, that's what I'm doing.
We can get you a gun. Nigella. She'll get you a gun. Like a musket. Made out of ice and sugar.
Try that at a dinner party. Somebody says, where would you get a gun? Just go, Nigella Lawson.
Like a literal rocket? Or
Yes.
like a telling off?
Okay, thank you for getting back to the point. Why would you give your postie a rocket? No, so you're heading in the right direction about sending it sort of into space. The idea is to try and send the post very, very quickly.
Very, very fast
if you
indeed.
can. About 1824, Sir William Congreve, he invented the Congreve rocket, which is a form of military artillery. He attempted to deliver mail from Tonga to Samoa by rocket.
It's remarkably stoical considering he's been shot 8.
Yes, it's not even...
He looks actually like he's standing behind that costume.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
You know who he looks like?
Who's
he
that?
looks exactly like this guy of Grindr, and I don't fancy him, but he is nearby.
Oh, the romance of it. He tried to send mail from Tonga to Samoa. It had limited success. There's possibly a few letters still
With a
in
rocket?
taller trees in Tonga, yeah. So people forgot about the idea of sending post by rocket for about 100 years, and then in the 1930s there was a German engineer called Gerhard Zucker. And there he is, Gerhard, and he toured Germany demonstrating his rocket post.
Sends a single grape. You will get these grapes. Because the odds end of Germany in local time. Brings a grape forward. One grape forward.
So the whole thing was billed as a fantastic rocket. It was going to be 5 meters long. It could travel at 400 kilometers at a height of 1,000 meters, speed of 1,000 meters per second. In fact, it was just a huge metal container attached to 8 fireworks. And weirdly, nobody in Germany was interested. So he came to Britain in 1934 and he announced that he was going to do a 1-minute rocket post between Dover and Calais. And so the British government thought this was marvellous and they went to the Outer Hebrides to test the idea. And he loaded his rocket with 1,200 letters, including one to the King, King George V.
This would never get past health and safety now, would it?
It was between the 2 islands of Harris and Scarpa. The whole thing blew up. And government officials stood and watched burning parcels rain down on the beach. He was deported back to Germany as a threat to the income of the post office and the security of the country. He was then detained by the Germans for cooperating with the British. It has a happy ending. He served with the Luftwaffe in World War II. So there's a happy ending. For centuries, people have tried to send mail by rocket, but it's never taken off. Now, what is the most useful thing you can do with this? These are some pieces of the
Oh, toilet
Do you
paper
remember
from
this?
the 70s.
Isol toilet paper.
Oh.
Medicated.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah,
Yes,
we had
we
that
had
in
it
our
at
primary
school.
school.
It doesn't so much wipe as just move the poo. To redistribute it. Yeah.
Like having your ass sandpapered. It was unbelievable. So, postal service we're doing. What is the most useful thing that you might be able to do?
Wrap up a parcel in it.
Oh, can you send it to your prisoner and they can use it to roll drugs in?
I feel you are so close to a life of crime.
It's true, man. You can make a Camberwell carrot out of one of them.
Can you eat it?
No, why don't you want to eat it?
I was just thinking it was more.
Let me try.
You never tried, you never tried weed. Have a bang on that, man.
Just breathe it in.
Breathe it in, keep it in, breathe it in, hold it in, hold it in, hold it in. Stop coming out of your eyes. Yeah, man. Yeah, now you'll see pixies.
Yeah. Has anybody got any chocolate?